Hey guys, Steve here. This video is going to be about the time I almost quit reselling. Now, just let me know how you like this camera angle, how you like this. I'm trying to do things a little bit differently, mess things up. And so just let me know down below if you like the story, if you like this kind of video, I can do more stuff like this. But this is about me and when I almost quit reselling, or at least quit reselling full time. Now, a little bit of backstory. I started my first job in 2013, 2012 roughly. I was like 16, 17, 18. Right about then, I worked in a supermarket in the fruit and veg section. Now, I really enjoyed that job, to be honest. I actually really low-key, I really enjoyed working in the supermarket. And over the years, it got up to around 2014, 2015, is when my hours started picking up. I turned more from casual part-time to full-time, and I had a little bit of spare money aside. Not a lot, like 100, maybe $150 a week. And back then, I was reselling Nintendo 64s and GameCubes and Super Nintendos on eBay. That's what I was doing. I was just a lonely console reseller on eBay, and then eventually I found my Pokemon card collection. Check out this shirt though. This shirt's pretty cool. I found my Pokemon card collection just in some shoebox, and I decided to look up to see what it was worth. I had a base set Venusaur. It was the first card I ever sold on eBay. My original base set Venusaur. If I could go back, I would stop myself, or maybe I wouldn't, because it kind of started everything. But then I was like, oh, I can buy a base set Venusaur for $10, and I just sold mine for $20. And that's just started the whole thing. And it was crazy. Fast forward, I was working full time 2016, 2017, 2018. My store started to pick up. I started doing really well on eBay. I started selling like maybe $1,000, $1,500 a week. I was like, I'm the man, I'm the best. And 2018 kind of was like an eye-opener to me. I was like, wow, we are doing crazy well. I don't need to work anymore. So at that point, I had like a $70,000 salaried manager job at a supermarket, the same one I've been working at since I was like, 16. And, I really liked that job. But at that time, I was like, I'm ready to quit, and I want to take my Pokemon store, my Pokemon business, I guess, if you want to really use it, to the next level. And it was the worst thing I ever could have done. A lot of people always tell me, Steve, I want to quit my job. Steve, I hate working. Steve, this. Yeah, I understand. It sucks. If you can find something that you can be passionate about and you can enjoy it and you can get a little bit of money extra every week where you can just buy some more cards and you can just get more stuff, it's like, I cannot even begin to tell you how important that is. Just to have something that takes your mind off the reselling and all that other stuff. So back to the story. In 2018, I quit my job. And I was like, let's go. And it sucked. I suddenly had, instead of having 20 hours a week to do all my stuff, I had 60 hours a week to do all my stuff. My productivity went down. Everything went down. I finally found myself with 1 billion hours of time, and I just barely did any work. I sat there, I played video games most of the days. It was terrible. My overall store kind of stayed the same. I didn't grow, I didn't lose. And it was just really bad. And the amount of money that I was getting in was a similar amount, except I wasn't getting my paycheck of $800 a week. So I might have been a little bit happier by not working, but like in the back of my mind, I was like, whoa, my money's kind of just, it's not coming in. I'm not able to buy as much. I mean, this should be good. I quit my job. I'm selling everything. And then things just started to get really bad towards 2019. It kind of just hit me. I was like, I need to go back to work. Now, that's what I did. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to say I quit my job. It didn't work out. I needed more money. I went back to work. I worked at a company. I worked as like a typist, I guess. I was just like a medical typist for a medical company. And I worked there for like 3 or 4 months. Now, those 3 or 4 months are the best 3 or 4 months of my life and best things I ever could have done. It was actually hell before that, but I got back on that working again. Suddenly made my Pokemon stuff that I did at home suddenly feel worth it. I just felt great. I was just like, I got all the time in the world after work. So if you work during the day and then you go home, you suddenly realize I only have 4 hours, 5 hours to do all this stuff. I don't have the 20 hours in a day that I had beforehand. And then I started to get the extra paycheck and everything was going well. And then I was like, whoa, I got so much extra money. I can start submitting more cards to PSA. And that's kind of how I got into the whole grading thing. I finally had enough money. I was sending like 100 cards every month, but like it was fine because my paycheck from my job was actually paying for my grading submissions. The flipping wasn't as crazy back then. You couldn't just get cards in and just go crazy, but it did feel good. And I mean, I'll be the first one to admit that quitting the job was the worst thing I ever could have done, and getting another job was the best thing I ever could have done. Now we're looking at roughly when are we? Like 4 or 5 months into 2019. The job was okay, but it was draining on me. The environment in the job was actually terrible. But then I really started picking up my sales, and I really started selling like 2,500, 3,000 a week. I had a deal with a local game store. I was selling some singles through there. And I was like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for. This was finally the time. And then I quit my job. And then the same thing happened. The paycheck from the job started coming in. And I was like, oh man, we really wish I had the money. But luckily for me, we got to like after Christmas 2020, which was just nuts. I think Christmas 2020, December 2020, I sold almost, oh my god, you hear my shoulder just crack? I sold almost $20,000, maybe $30,000 in 1 month on eBay and like in person and private deals, and 30,000. And I was like, this is it? I'm crazy. And then, obviously, we all know what happened in 2020. The first 3 months were very scary, as like all the news about COVID, everything. And in my mind, I'm like, oh man, this is really bad. If everyone gets sick in the world, no one's going to want a stupid shiny Mew, and it's just going to be absolutely terrible. It's just like, yeah, I mean, it got really bad at the start of 2020, but then obviously things closed down, and then all the cards started to explode. And then 2020 was just nuts. 2021 was just, I don't even know what to expect. And 22 and now 23 is just absolutely crazy, and the sales just keep exploding. My collection just keeps getting bigger. I'm extremely happy with where I am right now. But I will tell you, it's not all roses and sunshine and light and oh my god, look how amazing. It is very, very stressful to do this without a job, without an outer income, without something to support you, without people around you to support you. So the best advice I can give from a video like this, please, just understand that the collection should be the number one. Collection is number one. That's the only advice I'll ever give. Collection is number one. My collection is my most important thing, and everything I do is to build my collection. If you have the same output, same mentality, same thing, it's not about money. It's not about anything. It's literally about trying to get the most amount of cards. If I can get to 30, 40, 50 years old and I can have 1 million cards, 1 million more cards than I have now, I'll be happy. Money realistically does not do that much for yourself. If you're like me and you're not that materialistic, you just like cards, and money is great to help people in your life and help your family. That's very, very important. But realistically, if you work your job, do this on the side, everyone can sell. You don't have to be someone that doesn't sell. Like, I'm not a seller. That's not me. I don't flip. Yes, you should. Selling is the best way to reduce the cost of your collection, definitely. But please, the main message of this video is don't quit your job. It's very hard. Very few people make it. And even if they do, I'll be the one person to tell you. Some days, some weeks, I feel like, man, I might have to go back to work. And, my sales are, compared to what I was doing back then, they're just absolutely crazy. I might get 10, 20, 30,000 in 1 week, 50,000 in 1 week, but my outlay and my expenses are quite high now. So it's all relative. But I just want to tell you, like, even someone who does make a lot, or maybe they have a lot of inventory that's worth hundreds and few hundred thousands, $1 million, I don't really know. It's just, even for me, it gets hard sometimes where you're thinking, all right, maybe it's time to get back to work. So I just want to be honest with you. If you like this sort of video, I might kind of need a haircut, but if you like this sort of video, let me know. I could do some more like this. It's so much easier than having the camera turned the other way. I make this on like frontal camera, but my arm's getting sore now, so I'm gonna sign out. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the support. It makes me feel very special to have so many lovely people watching the videos, sending me messages. Any questions on Pokemon, I'm always here. Any questions on online selling, I'm always here. Questions on how to have a good hairstyle, probably not, but let's do our best. All right, see you later.